Hello, friends, and my enemies. How's it going out there? I trust tonight finds you well. Something that I've usually heard, a few times in my life, got brought up to me again today, and I thought I wanted to talk about it. Is the idea or the saying, the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he does not exist. Now, I don't really believe that this thing or this saying is in the Bible itself. I have yet to see it for myself. Perhaps it is in, some other format where they say the exact same thing in a different way. Either way, let's talk about it. You know, there are many people throughout history, and for the individual, perhaps people in their individual lives, they tell you things, they reveal secrets, they give their perspective on things. And oftentimes, as crazy as it may be to either believe or not believe, you'll be surprised that the person you're giving this message to, as critical as it may be, goes unnoticed, unreceived. You can see this in the Bible where whether it be a prophet, whether it be Jesus himself, a disciple of Jesus, or even many others, whether you want to consider them prophets themselves or warriors, they say, oh, this is coming, or heed this warning. And there are many, many warnings in the Bible. So much so that oftentimes people warn about it in other senses where they say, "Hey, this is in the Bible. This is something that people say was coming, or this is something that we should be wary of." They say in modern times, you know, whether it's for politics or like economy, be careful. These certain things are not going to be available anymore. Be careful. The economy is going to crash, or there's going to be this housing market thing. Be careful. The dollar or the pound, the euro is going to go up or down in a certain way, and it's indicative of something that's going to happen. Just there's any one of you, I imagine, could come up with examples when it comes to politics. In particular, right now, for many of the main either American or European countries. All that being said, when it talks about, the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled, or the greatest trick that Satan ever pulled, is to convince others that he did not exist, you know, is not completely different in the sense that all these things are happening all over the world that are clearly showing a decline. Now, I'm not going to go into the moral decline or stuff like that, stuff that's more concrete. Decline in terms of something that's tangible and easily approachable due to numbers such as in the economy or lack of resources or lack of manpower. Not as much people working in certain fields, although certain fields, naturally, because they're obsolete, people won't work on them anymore. But these are all clear indications of things that people turn a blind eye to, or that people don't care to really look too deep into it, either because it's happening too slowly, or because it's not happening in such a way that it affects them as individuals right away. It might be affecting other people around them, and they say that this evil is coming, but they choose to ignore it, or they don't believe it's ever going to come to them. I want to tie this all into, you know, spirituality as well. When you're living this spiritual life, I know has been a problem for me in the past. You know, spiritual life in a holistic sense, not just, what you pray or what gods you follow. It can be stuff like, as I've said in the past, drugs, addictions to certain things such as porn, or addictions to a certain lifestyle that you hold on to it so much that you'll do anything to maintain that lifestyle. These are things that can either keep you ignorant of or blind to what's going on in your life or what's going on in your spiritual being. And this just might be the evil or the Satan in terms of saying that Satan is a deceiver or Satan comes from, lack of knowledge that you are facing and you have convinced yourself, or you're part of the world and you have been convinced that this evil, this thing that's holding you back doesn't exist. I wish all of you to take care and to understand that sometimes when people tell you things, this is especially for atheists, such as the greatest trick that the devil has ever pulled with convincing the world that he doesn't exist, that they may not actually be convincing you of the devil himself. It could be something that is a evil in your life that you're turning away from. Try to stay awake to this, fellas.